With the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo is adding GameCube to the collection of games on the Nintendo Switch online subscription service. And for me personally, this is incredibly exciting. I was a little young when I had my Game Boy, so I didn't remember a whole lot of the games from that era, but the GameCube was my first actual console and I played so many games on it, so I have compiled a list of all the games that are not currently on GameCube NSO or announced for GameCube NSO that I would love to see added with the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 a little bit later down the road, because I love so many GameCube games. And I know everybody's probably got a different list of the games they want to see added, so be sure to leave a comment below with the stuff you guys want to see added if I missed your favorite, but let's get into it. First off, we have Star Fox Adventures. I really like this game. There was something about it, and maybe it was because I was like obsessed with dinosaurs as a kid, but pairing Star Fox with dinosaurs just hit so hard for me. It has a great soundtrack. I really like that they kind of took Star Fox and they made it more like a Zelda game with this particular entry. It was a really fun experience. I liked the voice acting. I liked the characters. I've recently gone back and played it a few years back. It's just a really fun game that I just absolutely love on the GameCube. And it was a game at the time that was a little tricky for me for the age that I was when it came out. It was definitely a little bit more difficult for me to play and complete at the age I was. So being able to revisit that now and be able to actually finish that game would be so much fun on the Switch 2 with the improved performance and things of that nature. I would absolutely love to see this one return. The next one is a classic for me. I love this game, the concept of this game, the story, and that's Beautiful Joe. Beautiful Joe hits unfathomably hard. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's a fantastic beat 'em up game. The concept of being at the movie theater and getting sucked into the movie and then gaining the superpowers of the superhero in the movie, so freaking cool. The catchphrase, everything about this game just has so much style. I absolutely love Beautiful Joe. And obviously with Beautiful Joe, you could add Beautiful Joe 2 to the lineup as well, but mainly I just want to see the first one. I preferred the first one to the second one. I absolutely love this game, and the slow motion combat and paired with the like speed up combat and the flipping around and doing all the different attacks. Oh man, this game goes crazy hard. The boss fights are phenomenal. Absolutely love Beautiful Joe, so I would definitely want to see this one come back on the NSO. We're going back to Star Fox here. I love Star Fox. Star Fox is one of my favorite Nintendo IPs, and Star Fox Assault is fan-freaking-tastic. I love Star Fox Assault, and it's because it combines so many different things. It took the third-person action side of things, but made it third-person shooter from Star Fox Adventures going into Star Fox Assault, and you had the shooter aspect where you pick up the guns along the way, and there's like the bazookas, the machine guns, everything, and you're fighting the enemies on the ground in a third-person style. There's also the Landmaster, which is the tank, which you can do on the ground, and that's really cool, but they also added in the flying elements that you get in some of the older Star Fox games with this game as well. So there was all three of those elements combined that made for such a unique and fun experience. I played through this game so many freaking times on my GameCube. It was just so much fun. Pair that with the fact that NSO offers multiplayer online for a lot of these games, and this game had a really fun versus mode where you and your buddies could sit around and do split screen and fight each other in the Star Fox maps all throughout this game and battle it out with the guns, the Landmasters. You could dogfight. It is so freaking fun, and having online capabilities on NSO with this game, I could definitely see me and my brother hopping in and playing this and just having such a good time like we used to way back in the day. We put so many hours into Star Fox Assault. The next games on the list, and it's not one game, it's multiple games, and that is the Lord of the Rings games that were available on the GameCube. Oh my lord, these games had no right being as good as they were, and there's three in particular that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Third Age, which is a fantastic RPG, takes characters that exist in the same time period as the movies, and it will interact throughout the game with the movie characters that will then have their own separate story that is so interesting. It was such a good game, and this was one on the GameCube that came with the 2 discs, and you had to swap the discs around once you got so far. Super fond memories of playing this one, but also the 2 Towers was a fantastic, just kind of beat 'em up, kind of God of War style game that tied in cinematic pieces from the movie into the set pieces of the game, which was really cool. And then the one that I'm most hoping comes to NSO is the Return of the King. That game is fantastic. Going from either a single player experience or playing with friends and just seeing who can take down the most of the enemies in each location, super fun game. And especially, like I said, with Star Fox Assault, having the ability to have this game online and be able to play with someone else online would be so cool for Return of the King. I absolutely love this game and would definitely play all the way through it again with a buddy on co-op if this came to NSO. Such a good game. The next one's a Zelda game that we have no idea what's going on with. We've heard rumors and rumblings of the last time it was remade in HD was on the Wii U. And that's Zelda Twilight Princess. And this is one of my favorite Zelda games. This game is so cool. The aesthetic of the game is so cool. I like kind of the gothic style that they have, and pairing this with Minda and the wolf. Such a cool game, and the music capabilities, pairing it with the wolf howling versus Link using instruments. It's just a fantastic game, and I was disappointed that it didn't get the HD remaster port. Same with Wind Waker, for that matter, getting the HD remaster port over on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm really hoping that we at least, at bare minimum, get this game on NSO if they don't decide to port over the HD remaster. Would I prefer the HD remaster? 110%, but I'll take it on NSO if I can just get access to this game. The next one is an interesting one, and that is Animal Crossing. I think this would be a really cool addition to NSO, simply so people could hop in that got into Nintendo and the Switch with Animal Crossing New Horizons. That was such a massive success on the system, being able to go back and see where Animal Crossing really started. And I think this would be just a really fun way to hop in. I don't think it would get near as much playtime as something like Animal Crossing New Horizons did, but I think people would definitely be interested in hopping in and being able to have another sort of village to interact with Animal Crossing and enjoy the game in that way. Being able to pair this with both your Animal Crossing New Horizons as well as Animal Crossing on NSO would be super fun to just be able to bounce back and forth and be like, oh, I have this village over here and these are my villagers here, versus I have on my GameCube save these villagers. I think that would be really cool. So Animal Crossing is one I'm hoping gets its port over. The next one is a sports title, a Mario sports title at that, and this was one of my favorites when I had the GameCube. Man, I dumped a ton of hours into this, whether it was playing against my brother or playing the story mode. This game hits, and that is Mario Superstar Baseball. Oh man, do I love this game. I absolutely adore Mario Superstar Baseball, and it is just so fun, the different power-ups that the different characters have. Being able to build your team with the roster was so fun. And again, the versus mode was super cool. Being able to play against your friends and be able to do, you know, battles against them, games of baseball against them was so fun. My brother and I played so much of this growing up. And again, NSO having online, I would dump so many hours into this, being able to play online with friends. Oh my lord, I would be playing baseball all the time. It would be so much fun. So I'm really hoping that this one makes a jump over. We've already seen the Mario Strikers is coming on NSO, so definitely would love to see Mario Superstar Baseball make that jump as well. Super cool. Another sports game here, sports adjacent. If you don't necessarily count it as a sport, I would count it as a sport. That's SSX on Tour. This game has a wicked soundtrack. Oh my gosh, this game had such a good soundtrack, and just being able to create your character and rise up in the rankings of snowboarding or skiing, whichever you preferred, and do the tricks, the outlandish tricks, grind on crazy stuff. This game was super awesome. I remember there was a free roam mode where you could just go down the whole mountain and it would take you through all the different locations, and you would be able to just listen to the soundtrack and vibe. Like, I spent so many hours just sitting there going down the mountain over and over and over again and just listening to the soundtrack. This soundtrack is one that I constantly think about when I think of best video game soundtracks, especially because all of it is pretty much licensed. It reminds me of like that Tony Hawk style stuff where it has the fantastic licensed music in the game, and it just hits so hard. Not to mention that SSX on Tour is the game on GameCube that had Mario characters in it. Mario, Luigi, and I believe Princess Peach were all available in this game as well that you could snowboard or ski as. So that's a really cool connection with Nintendo. So hopefully this is one that would make the jump over. I really enjoyed my time with this back in the day. Next up, I have Billy Hatcher. This is a hidden gem. I feel like a lot of people didn't play Billy Hatcher. I don't know. Maybe it's just people in my friend group. Not many people know Billy Hatcher. I loved it. I had the demo disc of whatever GameCube. It came with my GameCube, and it was a demo disc. It had stuff like Sonic Adventures, and it had Splinter Cell on there, and it had a demo of Billy Hatcher, and I played that, and then I got Billy Hatcher, and I loved it. Billy Hatcher was such a cool game, being able to feed the eggs and then use the eggs to get these cool little like monsters that would then give you different power-ups, using the eggs to battle the enemies. This was just such a unique little game that I enjoyed so much as a kid, and it did have a multiplayer mode. It wasn't a whole lot to do in the multiplayer mode, but I do remember playing it a fair bit with my brother, just because as a kid you only have so many games, so you're gonna play what you got, and Billy Hatcher was one that we had, so we played quite a bit of Billy Hatcher co-op, doing the battle mode. That was a good time. Not something I'd necessarily be interested in revisiting, but playing through Billy Hatcher itself again would be super fun. The final game on my list is Sonic Adventures 2 Battle. This game goes crazy. You want to talk about soundtracks? Soundtrack for this game, fire, straight fire, especially coming off the heels of Sonic 3 the movie. Having some of those songs in that movie, just chef's kiss. Super well done on the movie side of things. So I definitely think that Sonic Adventures 2 Battle would pull so many subscribers over to NSO, and especially with the features. You know, there's the versus mode, which is a lot of fun. You can race through the tracks against an opponent, and that's a lot of fun. I would definitely do that online. Pair this with the Chow Garden. That was something I dumped a ton of time into as a kid. I played so much Sonic Adventures 2, gathering the little animals around the map and feeding them to my Chow, and then they would then grow up and gain the different elements, whether they go angel or devil. It was so cool. It was such a fun time. I played so much Sonic Adventures Battle 2, and just again, the soundtrack, I gotta highlight, like City Escape, Live and Learn, like, oh my gosh, like, just bring it back. I love it so much. So please Sonic Adventures 2 Battle, put it on NSO. I would play the crap out of that. So that is my list of the games that I want to see added to NSO. The stuff from my childhood that I just dumped hours and hours and hours into as so many fond memories of all these games. But like I said at the top of the video, I'm sure there's a bunch of games on the GameCube that I personally didn't play that other people want on NSO. So let me know in the comments below what you guys want to see come to NSO for the GameCube, because there's probably a lot of titles, a lot of hidden gems in there that people just didn't get a chance to play. So let me know. As always, like, comment, and sub for more like this in the future. I've got tons of Nintendo Switch 2 stuff coming because we are rearing up for launch. We're going to have streams coming once the Switch 2 actually drops, so lots of fun stuff coming, so make sure you're around for that. But until next time, peace.